Does anyone have a link to the blog Daisy was talking about? Kirsten White's blog. There. See? You're so fast, Alana. Or Lena. Alana or Elena. I don't know how your name is pronounced. I could just call you Ms. Johnson. There's a remark here about weighing in on something that's controversial, but it's good to be positive. I actually think that's important. And hey, Kirsten, take a look at Gail Forman's blog because she has a terrific post from yesterday or today where she weighed in on the New York Times essay over the weekend about why lit, and it was really a wonderfully written blog and a wonderfully written post. I mean, you can tell that she's, not just a writer, but that she's also written nonfiction as well, because she really knew how to go back and deconstruct that. So I think it is useful to write about controversial things, and I think Gail Forman's blog is really a terrific example of how to do that in a way that is thoughtful. And authentic and also true to your brand, because that's kind of what she stands for. She's definitely, she gets in there and she mixes it up, and and she's not afraid to say things and challenge things, but she's always doing things under that umbrella of promoting and loving and embracing this wonderful world of young adult literature and writing for kids. So I think that's a good example to look at. I adore you too, Kirsten. Um, does it feel or seem like social networking is for the young? I'm as tragically hip as the next person, but I am in my mid 40s. Hello, I just turned 38 yesterday, so don't talk to me about being old. No, no, no. Everybody's on Facebook. My dad is on Facebook. I absolutely, thank you. Leos unite. I don't feel that it's just for the young. In fact, I don't have these statistics off the top of my head, but there are a lot of great studies recently about how social networking and Twitter use is actually a lot more prevalent for professionals now. I mean, a lot of college students have said, I don't want to be on Facebook anymore because all the adults have kind of polluted it. So I think it's absolutely fine and appropriate, and has definitely become something that is for all ages. Oh, Annie, Arnie, Annie, Amy, blog about chocolate. Absolutely. I was just looking at your comments. You should definitely blog about chocolate. Blog about what matters to you. Okay, EJ, thank you for your time. I just checked out your website blog. It's very fun, very pink. Oh, did I design it myself? No, I have a web designer, and yeah, I'm sort of like Evie in Paranormal. See, I really do like pink, and that's a little bit of kind of my brand, sort of as a media person. Is That's kind of what I've tried to bring to my video presence and to my new media minute and the podcast and web shows that I do, is being knowledgeable about media, but also sort of being happy-go-lucky and lighthearted. So no, I didn't design it myself. Oh, any tips on the visual aesthetic appeal? I'm not really the best judge when it comes to what makes for good design, but I do think that the one thing, the one thing that you should keep in mind, EJ, is always have the user experience at the top of mind when you're designing a website or whatever it is, to make sure that the navigation is easy, that if you have a blog, it's super easy to find your way around. And I think that those are some of the most important things that we can often neglect. We can get caught up in what color should it be? Should it be green, or should I have this design or that design? But make sure that everything is very easy to use and very easy to find. So those would be my best design tips. Let's see, here's a question. I love reading other writers' blogs, but it seems like we're all out there echoing the same ideas and information. Do you have any suggestions for reaching outside the writing community? I would think about the topics that you're writing about, and it's sort of, it sort of depends. I mean, some YA literature can deal with very sensitive and challenging topics, so it really depends on, on what you're writing about. I think a lot of folks know, who have read the jacket copy on my book, that it deals with date rape. So I haven't gone out and done any outreach yet to the date rape community, because that's just such a sensitive area. But I do think you should think about the type of writing that you're doing, the type of topics that you're addressing, and sort of figure out how it relates. Like, I'm going to give you a good example. Stephanie Perkins who we all love and adore, Anne and the French Kiss. She is sort of like a well-known movie lover and also a well-known macaroon lover. And for her, like if I were giving her advice, and I'm not, but if I were giving her advice on places to reach out to and connect to outside of the writing community, I would look for those type of sites, sites for movie lovers. Or Lisa Schroeder tweeted this adorable blog with all these beautiful pictures of macaroons today, and I think those are things where you can find other folks to interact with. Yes, good job. And also I should link up the blog that Lisa Schroeder tweeted earlier today with the macaroons. Oh God, it's beautiful. If you like French food or macaroons, it's fantastic. So yeah, just think about other things. I mean, even if it's, we were talking about shoes and shopping and dogs. I mean, maybe that's where you want to do some outreach. Okay, Diana, how important is originality? For example, Julie and Julia, there are a lot of writing blogs out there. How can I stand out? Also, how can I get my blog to pop out on Google? One of the best ways to get Google juice is by commenting on other people's blogs. It's like you're kind of, leaving a trail behind you on the internet. So that's definitely something that you can do. You definitely want to make sure that your website and your blog is SEO optimized. You want to make sure you can build out your Google profile. That's important to do. So you also asked a question about how can I stand out? I think that if you're just getting started with a blog, don't think yet about how you can stand out, but really think about what it is that you want to say. Just like when you're writing a book, if you have something, that's truly original and wonderful to say, you'll get it down, you'll tell the whole story, you'll sell a book. I kind of think it's the same way for the blog. Not that you're going to sell that, but that try it, see what fits, see what works for you. And you know what? Even if it's things that other people have said, maybe you're saying it better, or maybe you're saying it in a way that hits. So don't worry so much about having it be the most original blog out there. Harley, I'm just rushing through to try to get to all these questions. You spoke briefly about burnout and struggling to balance social networking with your home life. I'm not published, but I'm in the editing pre-query phase and find social networking kind of soul-sucking. Have you at any point just wanted to stop the social networking? I think if you're finding it soul-sucking, you should take a break. A lot of writers have done that. I think late last year, Suzanne Young and Victoria Schwab took a Twittercation. Sarah Zarr took a very noted one during the month of December. Michelle Zink did that. People just kind of logged off. Those writers just logged off and stayed off of Twitter. So if you're finding it to be getting you down, then get off of it. You don't have to be on it because that goes back to the authenticity. It's only going to work if it's really, kind of coming from your heart. Sometimes on weekends, I'm not really tweeting much at all because I'm busy with my family. And I don't necessarily have something clever or interesting or funny or whatever, or even appropriate to say. So I'll often kind of, check out a little bit on weekends. So I think it's okay to do that. And I definitely believe that you should recharge your networking battery. It's really important. And I don't think you should let yourself do it. Let yourself do it and be okay with it, because it's not going to, if you take a week off from Twitter, that's not going to impact whether or not you get a book deal, but it might help you actually make your book better. Danielle, hello. Okay, Danielle, how should I separate a pre-existing personal online presence from a professional one? I don't want to lose what I already have, but I also don't want one that puts my entire life out there as it would currently. I think that if you have an existing online presence like a blog and that might be about a particular aspect of your life, but you want to start one that is about a different one, just start a new one. I mean, that's kind of one thing that you can do. I mean, if you already have an existing online presence, it's there, and you can't necessarily change it. But if you want to focus on what's new and kind of this newer presence that you're developing, or kind of how you're shifting your brand right now, you will be able to do that by pushing that kind of newer presence. And that sort of speaks to Google optimization and search engine optimization. But the more fresh content that you put out every day or every week, or videos that you put out on YouTube, those will start to return higher in the search results. So kind of that new presence of yours will over time start to be on the first page of Google results. Like if somebody had once said something negative about you, but if you continue to, to post videos and to post blogs about what it is that you want to be talking about, and that's sort of how you're defining a brand right now, eventually over time, it will push down those other things in the search results. And yes, that's another great point that Lacey brought up. You can create lists on Facebook and limit views for those lists. Yeah, there are a lot of things that you can do as well in terms of, making a Twitter feed private or having your Facebook feed be private. Okay, Allie, hold on. There are about 100 blogging sites out there. I'm not even seeing this question. It's scrolling through too quickly. Which one should you, I don't know. If somebody could write that question again, that'd be great because I just scrolled through too quickly for me. Wait, let me see if I can find it on the right-hand side. Hold on. Where was that question? I totally lost it. There's something about what blog platform to use. Okay, there are about 100 blogging sites out there these days. If you're just starting with blogging, which of the blogging sites would you most suggest for writers? Do you mean like should you use WordPress or Blogger? I don't know. I kind of think they're both fine. I don't really have a lot of strong opinions about what actual blog platform to use. I think LiveJournal is okay, but it irritates me a little bit that it's a little bit kind of like you have to be a member of LiveJournal. Sometimes it feels like to comment on other people's things. So I don't know. I guess I would say WordPress or Blogger seem to work just fine, and I think they're pretty good. Let's see, Kangarooby, how often do you think it is okay to blog at the least? I would say if you're going to be blogging, try to do it once a week. You know, if you're going to be blogging once a month, yeah, I mean, if you can only blog once a month, blog once a month. I don't want to tell you not to blog. But if you're looking for what's manageable for you, aim for once a week and have that be awesome. You know, make that be a fantastic blog entry, and that doesn't mean it needs to be 1,000 words. It can be 200 words, but just make it be really compelling. I mean, that's okay. It can almost be like a column. You know, if you were a columnist for a newspaper or an online site, you would probably write a column once a week that was very pithy and original and thoughtful. So that's what I would aim for. Let's see. Okay, Leilani, for the person who is writing and really wants to be published, how can you put yourself out there on a social network? Now, do you mean, Leilani, would you be able to establish publishing contacts or move the book along in the submission process by being on a social network, or just if you're in the process of pre-publishing, what should you be saying on social networks? I just want to make sure I'm answering the question correctly. But I'm actually going to go take a stab at it. What I think you should, what I think authors who are in the process of reaching out to agents who are querying or who are on submission, I think it's great to be on Twitter. There are a lot of terrific literary agents, a lot of editors on Twitter. My editor at Little Brown is on Twitter. And that's Kate Sullivan. There are editors at Harper. Molly O'Neill is pretty active on Twitter as well, and she's quite amusing. There are a lot of agents. Michelle Wolfson, Kirsten Agent is on there. Holly Root is on there. Well, Colleen Lindsay was an agent up until last week. Daphne, uh, I'm using her Twitter handle. It's Daphne on. What is her real name? Kate Schaefer is on Twitter. There are a lot of folks out there. Okay, so your question, like to get noticed to agents and publishers. I think that it's a good idea. Yes, exactly. That's it. Thank you, Kirsten. Kate Testerman. I think she used to be Kate Schaefer. I queried her years ago for a chick lit novel before she got married. Anyway, and the novel didn't get published with anyone. Anyway, so and one advice I would give, the piece of advice I give you, Leilani, is don't expect that you're going to get a publishing deal because of Twitter or anything like that. There are definitely stories of writers who have made a connection with an agent over Twitter, and have perhaps gotten a request. Deb, and I'm just doing a horrible job remembering names right now. I'm so embarrassed I can't remember her name. Debbie, and I'll get back to you. She has a great story about connecting with Baker's Mark Literary Agency, but she'd already queried them. She was regularly interacting over Twitter. She had useful and helpful things to say. So I would just, if you're going to do that, just don't expect that it's going to get you an agent. And when you do interact with agents, make sure you're truly weighing in on what they are saying. I mean, these people are incredibly busy. They get more emails than we could even imagine, and they have a terrific BS detector. So just know that. And when they are active on Twitter, really pay attention to what they're saying and to their tips and the advice that they do share. Ask Agent is a wonderful Twitter thread that has a lot of great information on kind of what agents are looking for. So that'll give you some tips as well on how to interact with with them on Twitter because you want to be authentic when you're interacting with them, but you're not necessarily going to get an agent from being on Twitter. But it can't hurt. So there you go.